Picture Miriam, a seasoned nurse with kind eyes and warm smile that lights up a room. Her presence, a beacon of comfort amidst the chaos in the hospital ward. As she moves through the corridor with purpose, her smile hides the quiet battle she faces every day. Every day, Mary struggles to balance providing compassionate care in the harsh realities in the healthcare settings. Despite these challenges, she remains steadfast in her commitment to her patients and her profession. She draws strength from small victories, a smile of gratitude from a patient, a word of encouragement from a friend, and the knowledge that she has made a difference in somebody else's life, regardless of how small that may be. For Mary, nursing is not just a job, it is a calling, a profession that requires dedication and a heart overflowing with compassion. In today's healthcare settings, the mental health of nurses is more pivotal than ever. As an aspiring nurse, I recognize the immense importance of addressing issues that comes with providing patient care. Today, I'll be discussing the transformative potential of implementing mindfulness in nursing. But first, let's explore the problem nurses face. The rising level of stress, burnout, and mental health challenges among nurses is concerning. In an article entitled Understanding Nurses' Stress, a comparative study of nurses' stress in high and low burnout settings in the 2019 Journal of Nursing Research, it was reported that about 60% of nurses felt stressed daily, a fact that significantly impacts their overall well-being. Second, the nature of the nursing profession itself contributes to the major health challenges they face today. Nurses usually work for long hours exceeding their 12-hour shifts, and this leads to physical exhaustion and fatigue. In an article entitled The Emotional Labor and Compassion Fatigue in Critical Care Nurses, it was discovered that constant exposure to human suffering and death can also take an emotional toll on nurses. Third, the healthcare organization itself could make this worse. In an article entitled The Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder and Burnout Syndrome among Nurses, it was discovered that in many healthcare institutions, nurses usually face understaffing, heavy workload, and lack of organizational support. This leaves them feeling undervalued and unsupported in their roles. Finally, in the same article on the post-traumatic stress disorder and burnout syndrome in nurses, it was highlighted that there is a stigma attached to nursing when it comes to mental health, where nurses fail to seek for help when they need it. There is this prevailing culture of enduring pain before complaint, where nurses have to always prioritize the needs of their patients over their overall well-being. Now that we understand the problem nurses faces, let's turn our attention to some causes. First, the physically demanding nature of the nursing professions can cause various health problems. Research shows that there is a likelihood of developing varicose veins with each additional hours of standing. Nurses are also required to work for long hours without frequent adequate breaks. Nurses who work in surgical units and critical care are most vulnerable due to prolonged standing. Varicose veins does not only cause physical discomfort, but can also lead to mental health issues. The visible nature of this condition, in addition to reduced immobility and prolonged chronic pain, can lead to stress, body image issues, and also the feeling of frustration. Over time, this could accumulate to form anxiety, depression, and even poor quality of life. Second, the emotional toll of witnessing patients' death day in, day out can weigh down on the psyche of nurses. Whether it is comforting a grieving patient or a terminally ill client, constant exposure to these situations can evoke the feeling of sadness and grief. In a 2020 article entitled Emotional Labor and Compassion Fatigue in Critical Care Nurses, it was highlighted that constant exposure to this situation can evoke the emotions of sadness and grief, and also can lead to compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue, which is a secondary post-traumatic stress disorder, which is characterized by emotional numbness and diminished empathy. Finally, lack of support from both organization and systemic level also cause a mental strain on nurses. In most healthcare institutions, they fall short in providing resources and coping mechanisms for nurses to cope with the demands of their professions. Factors such as understaffing, limited access to mental health resources, and also inadequate training further compound to these problems, and this always leaves nurses feeling undervalued and unsupported. Now that we understand some problem nurses faces, some causes to these problems, let's turn our attention to the solution. Mindfulness, a simple yet profound act of simply being present in the moment, has proven to be a game changer for nurses. In a 2019 study entitled Mindfulness Practice and Their Impact on Nurses in the Holistic Journal of Nursing Research, it was reported that nurses who practice mindfulness practices experience heightened job satisfactions, reduce burnout, and improve emotional regulations. The solution does not lie in complex interventions, but small activities we could incorporate in our daily lives. But what does mindfulness mean to a nurse who has a busy and demanding schedule? For Mary and her friends, it could mean taking a brief pause amidst the chaos in the hospital ward and practicing mindful breathing. It could also mean incorporating small daily activities such as having a mindful walk during break or practicing mindful gratitude at the beginning and end of every shift. For nursing students, the journey of mindfulness could begin early to set the foundation for a more resilient and compassionate career. For example, nursing students could practice mindful practices and gratitude before entering each patient's room during clinical rotations. Today, we have explored some problem nurses faces, some causes to these problems, and we turned our attention to the solution, which is mindfulness. It is very important that we collectively come together to support those who have dedicated their lives to taking care of others. Whether you are a nurse, a student, or a community member, creating awareness about the mental health challenges nurses face is crucial. Let's start conversations, share resources, and advocate for policies that prioritize the mental well-being of healthcare professionals. By so doing, we could create a more conducive and supportive environment for these nurses and other healthcare professionals. On this QR code, you'll find a poster offering practical solutions to nurses that can help them reduce stress and also improve their mental health. These strategies include mindfulness exercises, ergonomic tips to reduce physical strains, and also fostering a good and supportive workplace environment. I encourage you to share this with your friends, explore the tools provided, and also share them with your family and any nurse you may know. Together, we can build a healthier and more supportive environment for nurses and everybody they care about. Thank you.